Li Auto hit the EV market in a different way with family-focused extended range EVs, and
Li smashed the premium EV sales here in China, and a lot of fanboys of other Chinese EV startups were not very happy. They claimed that Li Auto was cheating because it didn't have any real pure EVs. They even went as far as saying that Li Auto had no real EV tech. This is the brand new all-electric tech-laden Li Auto Mega, and it's telling those doubters, you're full of shit.
should we talk about MPV history? How Renault or Chrysler in 1984 launched what can be considered as the first MPV by modern standards? I think it's redundant. We all know what an MPV is, right?
Then you look at this, and you're not so sure anymore. The thing is, the Mega is blank sheet, ground up. It's function over form, or perhaps function dictating form would be more apt.
So why does it look so surreal, so unorthodox, so odd?
To fight one of the enemies of motion on Earth, air resistance, this honking MPV has a drag coefficient of 0.215. That's mightily impressive for a vehicle of this size if you know what that means. If you don't, let me break it down for you. The Li Mega beats out things like the Porsche Taycan with its 0.22, and don't mention other Chinese premium EVs.
The Xpeng X9, 0.227, and the Zeekr 009 is basically a brick with 0.27. In other words, the Li Mega is smoother than John Travolta in Baby Oil rizzing your mum after a bottle of Chardonnay.
It's electrifying!
We even saw this in a wind tunnel, and it actually recorded 0.2145, but I guess 4 digits just don't roll off the tongue. So why go to all this trouble? Range.
The Li Mega claims a range of 710 kilometers through the combination of low drag design and efficient EV powertrain, claiming just 15.9 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. The Mega uses a 102.7 kilowatt hour CATL chilling pack co-developed between Li and CATL. We've seen the CATL chilling pack in another Chinese EV MPV, but that one was geared more towards performance. This Li Auto CATL chilling pack focuses on charging.
Welcome to 5C charging. Now, of course, the Li Mega is on an 800-volt architecture, but what's most impressive is that it's able to pull a staggering peak of over 520 kilowatts at an incredible 700 amps and 700 volts. More incredible is its actual charging curve. This is still pulling 350 kilowatts at 60% state of charge.
So what does that mean? Rapid, and I mean rapid recharge rates. Li Auto claim it can add 500 kilometers of range in 12 minutes, or 12 minutes and 8 seconds to be precise. We saw under 10% to 80% in around 10 minutes, and breaking that down means 200 kilometers in 3 to 4 minutes. The Li Mega actually making squirt and go charging a reality.
The devil's in the detail, and as we know, the devil likes things hot. But with the Mega's chilling cooling plates in the battery and Li Auto's 5C insanely light liquid cooled charging cable, it keeps those temps down so it can get those amazing recharge rates. I'll admit the styling is like Marmite, love it or hate it. Or if you're Australian, replace Marmite with Vegemite, and if you're American, replace Marmite with the Second Amendment. You get what I mean. It's not everybody's cup of tea or pumpkin spice latte. Ugh, grim.
Its futuristic streamlined design wouldn't look out of place shuttling off from the USS Enterprise. The design looks like a Friday afternoon job. Someone drew 3 simple lines and clocked off early to the pub. But you know what they say about simplicity. It's deceptively complicated.
Put aside the divisive looks and instead focus on the design ingenuity. Li Auto say that the aero and design team worked hand in hand, and that gave rise to certain styling decisions. Li say that a lot of the design ethos comes from Brahm designer Dieter Rams, who famously said, less but better. Or rather, he said, weniger aber besser, because he was German. Of course he said it in German. The low front end water drop design is very reminiscent of other aerodynamic vehicles. There's plenty of memes online about Li Mega and the Chinese bullet train, and for good reason. They're both designed with aerodynamics in mind. and this front end's job is to slice through the air as cleanly as possible. After the front end slices that air, it rises up over this windscreen and over the top of the car. This is the highest point, the B pillar aiding access into that second row. The roofline then drops smoothly, allowing the air to pass over it until it gets to the back here, and the air is cut by what Li Auto calls the aero blade, so it doesn't create too much turbulent air behind the car, sucking it backwards. Now, that dip does eat into the trunk space a little bit, and in order to combat that, Li Auto have gone with a gull wing design for the boot lid. And the rear is actually narrower than the front, kind of coming in this boat tail design to help smooth air around it and, again, decrease the turbulence. It's a similar story down the side. The B pillar and windows are completely flush, creating a more kind of even and smooth side, helping that aerodynamics.
Behind that aero blade, you'll find an extremely flat back end in the name of aerodynamics. It's clean with the halo LED mimicking the front end. It has a large rear windscreen for decent rearward visibility, though the driver can use a digital rear view mirror if needed. The Mega gets 18-inch aero style wheels because aero, wrapped in 245/60 Michelin E-Primacy 2 low rolling resistant tyres because range. Those large sidewalls helping comfort, soaking up the lumps and bumps on road.
Some car reviewers complained when they saw the interior of the Li Mega, especially this front cockpit. They moaned that it wasn't that different to the Li L-Series, and as a car reviewer I can understand why. You see, they used up all their witty lines and comical comparisons when they reviewed this interior in the L9, L8, L7 and upcoming L6, but the Li L-Series is one of the most successful NEV lineups in China, and users love the interior. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Hashtag cliches are cool. There's a lot of business as usual for Li Auto in here. You still get that huge heads-up display that replaces your instrument panel with full ADAS visualization. You also have that 4.8-inch mini LED screen here in the steering wheel for less immediate driver information. You have the dual 15.7-inch OLED panels, although now they're upgraded to 4th gen units, and a larger 17-inch OLED in the rear, and that's all being powered by the new Snapdragon 8295 high-performance CPU.
Dual 50-watt cooled wireless chargers up front and one for each passenger in the second row. 3-zone AC, still rocking a 21-speaker, 2,160-watt Dolby Atmos spatial audio surround sound system, but Li claim it's been upgraded, knowing it uses the same audio supplier as Burmeister. And, just like the flagship L9, the second row gets vibration motors in the seat for that 4D experience, as well as a fridge that can cool things from 0 to 7 degrees or keep them warm between 35 and 50. The first and second row seats get heat, ventilation, as well as 6-mode spa massage function.
I think Li Auto upped the in-car massage game with the introduction of 10-point massage in the L9, and this time around they've done it again. The nub jewels in the massage push a little bit harder, and now it's 16-point. You still get 10 points in the back as before, but now you get an additional 6-point butt massage as well. Positively intrusive. The front passenger seat now has a queen seat, and you don't have to move the chair backwards in order to make it lie flat. And they managed to do that while also including a glove box. It's like Mary frickin' Poppins bag in here. Perhaps the most important seats in the house, a premium MPV with subpar second row seats, would be an absolute disaster. Thankfully, there's no disappointment here with proper captain's chairs, and with the aforementioned 16-point massage, heat and ventilation, they're pretty damn comfortable. They'll also have 270 degrees surround heating, which means not only the seat base and the seat back are heated, but also the calf rest and the armrest.
That calf rest has 70 degrees of movement, and the seat back can recline up to 95 degrees, so you can kick back and watch a movie.
And even though these seats are plenty wide, Li still managed to give access to the third row down the middle here.
The interior feels airy and spacious, thanks in part to over 8 square meters of glass and the fact that it's truly spacious. A length of nearly 3.8 meters pedal to the rear of the boot, and a plentiful 3.3 meter wheelbase means space in every row is fantastic. The second row legroom is on par with a BMW long wheelbase 7 Series, but perhaps more surprising is the third row's BMW long wheelbase 5 Series rivaling legroom.
And the third row hasn't been forgotten in terms of features. All 3 seats have heating back here. There's also cup holders, USB sockets, as well as air outlets and 16 degrees of recline. Also, the space back here is not just good legroom wise, but footroom wise, because in the bottom of the seat, there is actually a cutout for your feet to fit underneath the seat in front.
The amount of space you have in the second and third row is crazy, especially when you consider the claims of MPV leading boot depth. The boot with a third row up has a depth of 68 centimeters. Fold that third row forwards with a button and you get 106.6 centimeters of depth.
Even with that third row up and that sloping roofline for aerodynamics, you can still fit 4 28-inch suitcases and 2 carry-ons in the back of here, mostly thanks to this recess in the floor. And to aid loading that in and out, you can drop the air suspension on the rear axles in 6 seconds. In the Li Mega, power is delivered via dual motors, 155 kilowatts in the front and 245 kilowatts in the rear, for a total of 400 kilowatts and 542 newton meters of torque. It can dash 0 to 100 in 5.5 seconds, but I'm not sure that your passengers would appreciate it. The Li Mega comes standard with dual chamber air suspension and CDC, and because it's a little lower than some of the competition, there isn't as much body roll as you would expect. However, this is a big swanky MPV, so it's kind of pointless to even talk about handling.
Li Auto is aiming for traditional premium people movers with the Mega. 2 of the Mega's benchmarks were pretty bad in comparison for different reasons. The Mercedes V-Class drove like the van platform that it is, and even with air suspension it jutted massively and rattled its interior. And my god, the brakes did almost nothing for the first half of the travel. The Alphard did a better job than the Mercedes, but that was a low bar. The Alphard is a top dog Luxo MPV in China, costing between a whopping $118,000 to $129,000 US. But its ride is no match for the Li Mega, and its 4-cylinder mild hybrid powertrain screamed along while barely gaining speed.
Suspension wise, double wishbone up front and multi-link in the rear, but the multi-link in the Li Mega is HR multi-link. This delivers potentially the best kind of comfort. Most cars don't go with the H-Link arm because it takes up more room. However, Li Auto managed to find the space and put it in. I can tell you that this is definitely a comfortable car, but what else would you expect?
The Li Mega has numerous cameras and sensors, including a roof-mounted LiDAR, meaning you'll have access to AD Max as standard. AD Max is Li Auto's ADAS suite, including their highway and city NOA features for no extra cost, no subscription. Be sure to check out our Li Auto City NOA video where we explain how the system works in more depth. This updated version of Li Auto's City NOA is more robust, now featuring upgraded auto park features, which are handy when the Mega is 5.3 meters long. And on the day, in the Mega, the system was faultless and confidence-inspiring. Definitely one of the ADAS frontrunners.
Other little things in here, this Li Mega has something called the Magic Seat. It's basically this driver's seat, has 2 cushions which can inflate and deflate in real time according to what's going on in the suspension in order to offer even more comfort for the driver. If you thought that Li's head-up display couldn't get any better, well, you'd be wrong, because in the next OS update, it will push what is currently being used in the Li Mega, meaning that you will get the camera feed for your blind spot up on your HUD. Obviously, this is the place to be, and I'm delighted to say that it's very comfortable back here with your ventilated seat, your massage, your footrest, your reclining feature as well.
Sitting in the second row, noise levels are nicely controlled. In fact, NVH throughout the cabin is extremely good thanks to double acoustic glass all the way around.
And obviously, with that air suspension and CDC, the ride is very comfortable as well. What would a premium MPV be without a great second row ride? Obviously, when you're back here as well, you got access to that screen, and just as before, you can use your hand in order to control it thanks to gesture control. And that gesture control also works along with the voice assistant if you want to do things like this. 理想同学，这个打开。
So how much is this Li Auto electric dream gonna set you back? Close to $78,000 US, but Li is supposedly aiming to sell and deliver 8,000 Megas a month. That's a lot of MPVs.
The Mega delivers what you expect from Li Auto, a comfy, spacious, family-orientated vehicle, but now it's all electric. Not only that, this is an EV, pushing EV tech on.
In recent years, we've had the EV acceleration wars, but we're at the point where we're not getting below that 1.8 to 2 seconds anytime soon. If Li Auto is successful with their 5C charger rollout, I think the Li Mega will reignite the fast charging wars. Going forwards, I expect we'll hear of multiple future EVs with 5C charging.
If you're still worrying about whether the Mega looks good or not, or whether MPVs are too niche in the market, well then, you've missed the point of the Mega altogether. I'm Will, that is the brand new Li Mega, and this is China Driven.